Right, now here is some Pythagoras theorem help with a bit of problem solving. So you have to look at this shape and realise that Pythagoras works for right angled triangles only. Now we have to find x here, right? That's what we're looking for. We're trying to work out this shape here, this line here. To do that, we need to find out what this is. Now we haven't got enough information because for Pythagoras to work we need a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But can you see here that whole length is 25 and that's a right angled triangle, so we've got 25, 65, that's the right angle there. Now you know that is the hypotenuse because it's opposite the right angle, so that's the longer side, that's your C here. The short sides don't matter, so that's your A, and we can just call that B. That's the yellow question mark we need to find X eventually. So what we do is substitute these figures into the formula. We've got 25 squared plus b squared equals a c squared, which is 65 squared. 25 squared is 625 plus b squared equals 65 squared, which is 4,225. Now we want b on its own, b squared on its own, so we need to minus 625 from both sides. So b squared is now going to equal 3,600. So you square root both sides to find b. And that answer will be 60. So we know this yellow question mark is 60 centimeters now. Now we can use that figure, because we needed that, to find x, because we know this is 11 and that's 60. Now this is the longest side, so that's C. A and B, what you label it, the shorter size doesn't matter. So again we use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Let's substitute those figures in. So you've got 60 squared, which is 3,600, plus 11 squared, which is 121, equals c squared. I'm just going to do the full working out for you. That's going to be 3,721 equals c squared. Now what do we need to do? We have to square root both sides. You can use a calculator for this, obviously. And that answer is 61 centimeters. So once you break that up like that, it's not as difficult as you think. So here we want to find x here. We've got this nice right angle triangle here, but can you see we need to find this length here. So we've got this right angle triangle here. This is nice. Draw a picture if it helps you. It's just a rotated triangle. So you've got 9 here, 12 here. And we need to find that question mark to finish the question off. So we know that's C, because that's the longest side, A and B. Using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you've got 9 squared, which is 81, plus 12 squared, which is 144, equals c squared. Add that together, so that is 225 equals c squared. Square root both sides. So c equals 15 centimeters. There we go. Now that's 15 now. Let's draw another right angle triangle to represent that x we need to find, and it's not centimeters, it's millimeters. So this is 15, that's 8. We're still finding the longer side. So we've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And you just substitute those figures in for a and b. You should know your squared numbers for this. So that's 64 plus 225 equals c squared. And that's going to equal 289 equals c squared, which remember is actually the x. And we square root both sides now, and I know that equals 17 millimeters equals c, so x equals 17 millimeters. Okay, hope that makes sense. Now let's do some more. So we want to find x here. So we need this length. So we've got to use this triangle here. So let's split that up. There's a right angle. That's 29. Let's just start with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So now this is, we've got c here, a here, and we can call that b. A and b don't matter, remember. So we've got 29 squared equals 21 squared plus the b squared. So I've just put a here, but it doesn't matter which way round you do it. So what is 21 squared? You can use a calculator for these types of questions. I believe you only need to know the first 15 squared numbers. So that's 441 equals 29 squared, which is 841 equals a b squared. So doing all this is going to give us this length here. And that's a plus. So what do we need to do? We need to minus 441 on both sides. So get b squared on its own. So b squared equals 400. You should know the square root of that. So b equals 20. And this time it is centimeters. So this is 20 centimeters. Do another triangle. Now we've got that precious 20. We have this 12 here, and now finally we've got x. Remember, this is the c, this is a, and this is b. So now you should know, so we've got 144, that's 12 squared, plus the b squared equals 20 squared, because remember that's the c. Right, so we get 400 minus 144 on both sides to get b squared on its own. So then b squared is going to be 200 and 56. So you need to square root that. So B equals 16 centimeters, right? So here, 7's exactly the same. You should be able to give those a go now. That's a shorter side, and the quicker method is when you're finding a shorter side, and once you understand this will just be a bit easier. The shorter side, you just minus the squares. So that would actually be 17 squared minus 8 squared equals whatever side you call that, which I can just call that B, equals B squared. So that's 289 minus 64 equals B squared. I know that's 225 equals B squared. You square root both sides. So 15 equals B. Now, longer side I think is always the easiest because it's just obvious that you need just to plus the squares. Now you've got the 15, trying to find the x, and you've got 36 here. So using, remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You have 15 squared plus 36 squared equals c squared. So that's 225 plus 36 squared, which is 1296. Equals c squared. Add those two together. This 1521 equals a c squared. Square root both sides. So in this instance, C equals 39 centimeters. So all these skills are all similar. So all you need to do here is use your a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So you're trying to find a shorter side here. You can call that b. So you're using this type of triangle. See where the right angle is. That's 8. That's 17. So you're finding the shorter side. So like I said, I'm going to give you this easier message. Shorter side, you minus the squares. Obviously it's important you know how to rearrange. So you've got 17 squared minus 8 squared going to equal the shorter side, which is b squared. That's going to be 289 minus 64 equals b squared. I know that's going to be 225 equals b squared. Square root both sides. So 15 equals b. So now you know that's 15. To find x now, you've got this triangle with the right angle. X is the longest side. That's what we found earlier. So remember I said you add the squares to find the longest side. So you've got 15 squared plus 12 squared equals x squared. That's 225. Add 144 equals x squared. That's going to be 269 equals x squared. So now you might have to round this. And so x here, normally 1 or 2 decimal places is enough. So I'm just going to do it to 1 decimal place. and that's in millimeters, and then that's it, that's done. So all this is using Pythagoras theorem twice. Find the missing side you need to find the question, and then it should be quite straightforward. I hope that helps you out.